Okay, we're going to have a look at an app called Tapikeo. And when the app opens up,
find and match the pairs of opposites.
Opens on a screen that you were last on when you were in the program. We were on the opposite screen. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and have a look at settings. So we got a few settings here. We got languages, English, and we got French. So you can do the app in either of those. Sound options, we can either play together or play in order. I'll show you how that works. Active picture, we'll get into that. Shake mode, we'll talk about that as we go through the review. Lots of information, quick start guide, contact us, share Tapikeo, grid sharing, rank Tapikeo in iTunes, and all about the app. So lots of good information on that screen. Let's go out and get right into this. Now, I don't say this very often about apps, but this app is currently on sale for $2.99. I think the full price is $4.99. In my opinion, from all of the apps I've looked at, and for children with special needs, this app could easily be priced at well over $20. I think it's an amazing app. I think it's brilliant for the price and for what it does. So if you don't have it and you do have a child with special needs, I highly recommend it. Before we start to look at all of these grids up here, these are the grids that are on the iPad. Let's go ahead and have a look at some of the things that are interesting to look at. So obviously we've got guide for parents and educators. If you click on that, it opens up information about Tapikeo, an introduction, children and technology, play-based learning and creativity. What is Tapikeo? What do we need? The idea, collecting images, thinking about sounds, putting it together, tips for Tapikeo, how to be used, and so on. So a lot of information there that you should read prior to starting playing with the app, which is what I did. Coming back here, you'll notice that on some of the screens when we go through the apps there are question marks. Now if you touch one of these question marks, they're really handy, they're really well put together, and they tell you step by step how to use that page that you're on, just like the one we are on here. One of the very exciting things about Tapikeo is that you can export any of the grids that you make. So you can make grids on here, you can export them into Tapikeo onto the website, or you can export them into HTML and have them on the computer. So lots of amazing opportunities to do there, and you can also download them from the Tapikeo site and from other people and share all of your grids and stuff like that. We're not going to go into how to do that. It's very well explained on the app itself. All about your exports right here. You would basically go in and follow the instructions. So something that's very exciting, that you can share all of that around the world and make the grids. Downloading grids that are already made, or options of downloading parts of this program. I already downloaded the AAC starter pack and I'll show you that. But you can discover animals, children's songs, how-to, social stories, learning grids. And then you've got other things that are free, which would be something that you would create so people could download for free. And you'll see what people have created here. Alphabet at lunch, clothes, colors, construction vehicles, tools, ebooks, everyday sounds, numbers, fruits, health, in town, jobs, music instruments, school stationery, shapes, sports, transports, vegetables, and weather. So a lot of really exciting stuff here. What I'll do is I'll show you how to download one very quickly. We'll download the shapes. And then once it downloads, you get a little introduction of what to do. You click on that, you go back into your grid, and if you swipe all the way to the end of your grid, you'll see that there is shapes. You simply click on it, import the grid, and voila, the grid is now imported into the iPad and will appear at the very end of all the grids. You can see I've got a lot of grids up here, but there's the shapes. So let's go ahead and have a look at that. Two ways to look at it. We can either select play here, we can go in and change the grid settings, we can delete it, or if we ever change it, we can then export it again. What we're going to do is click on play.
Shapes.
And we get a bunch of shapes. You can see that down the bottom we've got two screens by these two dots, and you can slide backwards and forwards between the two. And when you press
triangle,
one of them, you'll see that it says what shape it is.
Circle. Hexagon with 6 sides.
And so on.
Cube.
Now you'll notice how the picture is blowing up there. Now this is where the active picture comes into place. I'm going to change it to no change. Now if we go back in and look at this again, we'll play the same
shapes.
Same grid so you can see the difference. Now remember, the picture blew up.
Triangle.
Now when I touch it, it doesn't.
Pentagon with Hexagon with
they
6
stay
sides.
small. Okay, I'll show you one other option on that one. So let's go back in, let's go back out, and choose it again.
Shapes. Triangle.
And this time you'll notice that the picture stays big until I tap it.
Trapezoid.
Okay, so you can study that picture as long as you want, which is a very important fact. So let's go back into settings and put this on no change as we go through this app. Now, something that excites me is being able to quiz the children, or my children I should say, on the grids that you create. So this is a grid about shapes. Now if we press the shake button,
Pyramid.
you're asked to find the pyramid. Okay, so we find the pyramid. You'll notice at the top of the screen that you've got a timer, and you've also got a bunch of legs on a caterpillar, or a centipede, or whatever that creature is up there that you'd like to call it. That each time you get one, it is blue, or if you get one wrong, you'll notice that it's pink.
Star.
And you continue to label the shapes until you've gone through every single question, and it'll tell you your score based on the time it took you to get, and you can see how many you got right or wrong by looking at the blue and the pink. So that's something really cool, and I'll show you why I'm excited about that a little bit later in the review. So let's go ahead and talk about what comes with this app when you buy it. Now remember, this app is $2.99 right now, $4.99 when it's at full price, which I'm still blown away by. Animal sounds. When we open this one,
Animal sounds.
we get 3 grids of animal sounds. You can click on them and hear them. You can shake, and then you can quiz yourself on those sounds if you like. Let's go back out. We've got a social story that we can look at.
Story, Clelia and the Cereal.
And you'll notice this is set for 1 by 1. So when you click on this,
Clelia and the Cereal is an example of a short story created with Tapikeo in less than 20 minutes.
you'll notice that it's like a social
The
story.
cock crowed. Cock-a-doodle-doo!
You press the blue button.
Just as she did every morning, Clelia made her bed before leaving her room.
Going to the next screen.
She tiptoed to the bathroom, closed the door carefully so she didn't make any noise, and brushed her teeth.
You can go back at any time.
Just as she did every...
So let's go back out of there, but that's an example of a social story. Funny facts about animals. Matching opposites. Let's have a look at that one, because I like how this works.
Find and match the pairs of opposites.
So the idea is to find and match the pairs of opposites. Now you notice that when we came onto this grid, there was a voice telling you what to do. You can either have a voice explaining the grid, or you can have that turned off if you don't need it. It's nice to have it on. So for example, we've got happy and sad, typical opposite. If we touch one.
Sad. Happy.
Okay, and the idea is to drag them.
Happy and sad are opposites. Above and under are opposites. Cold. Hot. Hot and cold are opposites.
And again, you can make the pictures either pop out, they can stay large, they can go large and go small, and so on. You can do that with every single grid. Let's continue on with the grids. Learning to wash the hands is another
How to clean hands.
another social story. So you can see how easy it is to make these social stories. Something that's cool with the iPad, I don't know if everybody knows this, but as you go through an app and you read a book, for example, so let's say we're reading a Dr. Seuss book or something like that, or a magazine or anything that's on the iPad, if you press the power button and the home button at the same time, it takes a photograph of the picture on the page of the iPad. So if you take 10 pictures within a story, you can almost create your own story to do on the iPad, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in a little while. Let's go to the next one and just show you an example
ebook.
of
The moon. Ebook.
Of an ebook.
The moon and the cap.
So you can upload an ebook to this, and again, this is
The moon and the cap.
done just like a social story.
All of us went to the Desera Fair. Papa bought Chintu fancy glasses. Mother bought me a bright blue cap. The baby got sugar candy.
And I think you get the idea there. So another amazing thing that you can do. Tools is the final one on here. And again, it's just a screen all about tools and so on. And again, you can quiz on that. Now, I downloaded AAC, and this is where it gets exciting. So let's click on this one here. and we'll open it up, and you get all of these different areas. So we've got pronouns, people, I plus quick phrases, verbs, quick phrases, short words, questions, body, pain levels, and emotions. Now you can click on any of these from here. So for example, let's click on emotions, and it'll take you to the emotions page.
Happy.
And again, you can blow these
Hurt.
pictures up if you want to. I'll show you what I'm talking about just by doing this, going back to the grid, pressing play. Now watch.
Happy.
Okay.
Surprised. Uncomfortable.
And so on. And the options that you get with the AAC are also broken down into their own separate folders. So I'll show you what I mean. You've got the main page of the AAC here, but if we go back out to the grids, you can look at them one by one here. So for example, we can click on any of these and go into them, and you've got just like you would have a regular AAC app.
I love you. I'll point to it. I have no symbol. I can. I want. I know.
And so on. And don't forget, any of these can be edited to make them whatever you like, which is also very exciting. You can change the text, you can add your own pictures, you can do whatever you want. So the functionality of the AA system for this is really good. One of the interesting ones on the AAC is the pain level, which is simply a grid from
1 out of 10.
all the way up
10
to
out of 10.
10 out of 10, and again you can create your own sounds and stuff and even change the pictures for that. But the AAC grid is 99 cents, if you can believe that, to download all of those options. Now let's carry on and look at some of the boards that I've created so I can explain to these. So this is Alexander.
All about me.
So this is all about me. So what we've got here is Alexander and some of his family members. Alexander is up here.
My name is Alexander.
And as you click on other people in the screen, you'll notice
Cameron.
their names pop up.
Mark. Gary.
Even me. Here's Morgan.
Morgan. Juliana.
Okay, now what I've done is I've made this into almost like a family association, like a boundaries sort of grid. So when you drag Alexander to a picture, let's drag him to Benjamin.
Benjamin is my brother.
It tells you all about it.
Cameron is my brother. Mark is my best friend. Juliana is my mother.
Okay, and so on. And again, you can quiz on that if you want to quiz on family members. Todd Parr is over here.
Todd Parr writes my favorite books.
And we'll go back out. But that's something that I really like. You can set up something about places.
Places I like to go.
And again,
I would like to go to McDonald's. I would like to go to Wendy's.
and you can imagine the possibilities are endless. You can put the zoo, you can put anything you can think of, you can make on there for your own use. Let's keep going through this. Sight words. This is something I use right now with my kids.
Sight words.
And again,
The. You.
and what I like about this is when you press the shake,
Was.
it tells you to find the words.
You.
Which is great for my children because they have a hard time associating, and they can seem to learn when you're talking with them, but when they're doing it by themselves they have a hard issue. So if you get it wrong, you get a little bit of a pink foot up there and you can continue. So let's keep going on the grids. Breakfast. Another thing that is really great about this app is that you can
making breakfast.
go through this where you have routines and multiple routines in the day, and this is what makes an app like this so valuable. You've got a grid here of my son having breakfast, and then after breakfast, let's say we want to go to school. So you'll go through the routine, you'll start at the beginning.
First of all, I get a bowl.
And so on all the way.
After I finish my breakfast, I take my bowl and spoon and put them in the sink.
Okay, so what comes after we finish breakfast? I've just put a demonstration on here that school comes next. So you make a tab and you create school, and by putting this little setting on here, which I'll show you how to do, when you press this,
Off to school.
It connects to a whole nother grid.
School.
And now we're on the school grid. So even after breakfast, if it was get dressed, if it was brush your teeth, you could have a board on there explaining how to brush your teeth, how to get dressed, how to take the dog for a walk, how to vacuum the carpet, whatever it is that you have next on your daily schedule or is good for your child. And as you click on these,
Mrs. Smith is my teacher.
you can see you can go through here. Now, something I've done here is just add some cards to this blank page. And I just want to show you that very quickly. If we click Edit on here and we click an empty spot and we want to jump to another grid, we can do that and I'll show you. But if we want to copy a cell, it brings up all of the grids that we've made, and we want to bring one of these things over to the page that we're now on. So let's say we want to bring a sight word over. We'll click on the sight words, we'll select was, we'll confirm that we want to do that, and what it does, it brings the audio and everything with it. So we're going to click on Done, and we'll click on off of the edit here onto Play.
School.
And you'll notice now that the word we just imported from another grid is in there.
Was.
With the audio. So very simple to copy. Now the great thing about that is the AAC download. You can make up your own boards, you can make up your favorite sentences, your most frequently used words and sentences, and so on. So let's go back out to the grids very quickly. Stories, like I was telling you about, you can take photographs. These are photographs from Cinderella by Nosy Crow.
Cinderella is very sad.
And you can add your own commentary, or you can read from the...
Cinderella is on the way to the ball. Cinderella is running home as fast as she can. Cinderella and the young prince are now happily married.
And then when you do this on Shake,
Cinderella is on the way to the ball.
They have to find the words that are associated with the sentence. So it does a lot of good things as far as that goes. Let's go back out.
Cinderella is very sad.
Let's go back out to the grid. Let's have a quick look at words here. I made this.
Let's make some words.
So the idea here is to work on phonics.
H. B. P. Ack.
Now when you put them together,
H. H. Ack. Hack.
and that's the idea there. And you can shake that and you can learn the letters and you can learn the words, which again is very, very exciting, and my kids love to play with that. Another simple one is colors. We'll have a quick
Colors. Yellow.
Tapping on there and so on. So that's really all of the grids that we've created so far. You've looked at these and so on. I'll show you how easy it is to create a grid. You basically click on Create Grid. You can call it whatever you like. We will call this A4 and click Return. We can play a message so that when it turns on, apps for children with special needs. We can test that. Apps for children with special needs. There you go. And we can click Done. We can have 1x1 mode on, or we can have picture outline green or white. We'll leave that off. We'll click Add, and then we just simply go ahead and add our pictures. Now if we want to just add text, you click on that. You type up here what you want to put in there. So let's say you want to make a grid about days of the week. You want to make a spelling grid maybe, or a spelling thing. You can change the color of the letters and so on. Click Return. We'll click Done. I double typed that, so let's go ahead and delete it. So show you how easy that is. We'll just go ahead and do it again. Like that. Oh, I should have said that was days of the week. Sorry, I should have typed it in here. My mistake. Let's go ahead and type in Monday here. And we'll make it green. And done. And then you have your grid started, and there's your day of the week. Now we put no audio on that. We could do this. Monday. Turn it off, go back out. Let's go into Play. Apps for children with special needs. You'll see that's the name of the grid. Monday. And there we have the Monday. So you would simply continue editing that. You can change the size of the text that you want to add. So if we put Q, for example, you can simply pinch just like you do. Move it down, make it, click done. There you have Tuesday right there. Tuesday. And so on. So very easy to make grids. You can play that. Apps for children with special needs. Monday. Tuesday. And then when you press shake, Monday. You have to find Monday. Tuesday. And there you go. So that is the general way that Tapikeo works. Now, one final thing that apps for children with special needs that is going to apps for children with special needs make you very excited about this is this little lock right here. If you touch that, you have to touch that 5 times within 1 second. What it does is it locks the grid so the kids can play, but they can't edit, delete, or anything. So how good is that? They can't click on the buttons that are there to destroy the program if they were to get their hands on them. To unlock it, they have to touch this button 5 times within a second. Not too many kids can do that, and if you don't tell them that's what it's about, then they probably won't get that it's under a second. So, but if you do, it opens it back up. And we'll go back out to the grids. And that's my demonstration. Like I said, brilliant app, $2.99, full price of $4.99. I still can't believe that that's what it is. But it's certainly become one of my favorite apps, Tapikeo. If you don't have it, get it now.